How very certain.
Double kill.
Power rifle arrived.
Triple kill.
Man, the sound for this game is just so crispy. You know when a game is just crispy? That's what this game is. It's just so crispy. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, this is going to be basically a recap of the first flight weekend. There's another one next weekend where they're going to have big team battle, which I'm excited for because that's when I actually want to play. Arena was fun and all, but Arena's a little more sweaty, and it's a little... I just like bigger teams. I like vehicles, power weapons, being able to blow up vehicles, make bigger plays and stuff like that. So overall, very fun. The game is really polished feeling, you know. There's a couple glitches here and there, obviously, with it being an early version of the game, but I mean, it feels good. It feels ready, and everything feels right with the weapons besides a couple things. My main things with the weapons, I would say the battle rifle feels a little off. Something about it just isn't right. You'll see a couple BR clips during this video where I'm beaming people in the head with the battle rifle, or just even in the body, and it doesn't really seem like it's doing anything. I don't know what that's about. For whatever reason, it just feels like you can either kill somebody in like 3 bursts or like 6. It feels weird. I think what it is there's like a disconnect between how the gun sounds and how much of a punch it actually packs, because it sounds like a really heavy weapon in this game, as opposed to like a lighter 3-round burst marksman weapon. It sounds like a heavier marksman weapon, if that makes sense. And it doesn't pack as much of a punch as it sounds like it does. So maybe that's what it is. Might be like a mental thing with the sound, but I don't know. It doesn't feel quite right, and I think they are going to tweak it before the game comes out, because I can't be the only person thinking that it doesn't feel quite right. It feels a little too slow. But this gun that I'm using here in this clip, I think it's called the Commando. This thing is interesting because it's an assault rifle, but you can also really quickly tap fire it at longer ranges and take people's heads off. Right here, I'm kind of full autoing it. And if you full auto it for a little too long, the spread really starts to get bad, and you won't be hitting where you think you're aiming. So you gotta like learn with it. Patience is the key with a lot of weapons in Halo, obviously. Just being patient, pacing your shots out, and making sure they're all on target. And with this gun, patience is super key, because you can really easily do poorly with it if you don't use it correctly and you just try to full auto it at all types of ranges. There was times with it where I just tried full autoing it, and I was spraying a whole clip into people and it wasn't killing them, and I was like, man, what's going on with this thing? So it took a little while to figure out, but after I did, I picked it up like every single time I could find it. The rocket launcher feels mostly the same. There are definitely a couple shots where I hit near people, and in past games it definitely would have killed them and didn't this time around. But I think that's just because they nerfed it a little bit. But I think it's fine. It's still, guaranteed kills when you pick it up, as long as you don't really screw up. And on top of that, this game, it tells you when the power weapons are up. So you don't really have to keep like too much of a mental clock, because the announcer will say, power weapons up soon, power weapons on the field, and then, that kind of is your cue to make sure you go get them before the other team does. And I'll tell you what, if the enemy team is really controlling the power weapons all game and your team just can't seem to get them, it's going to be a long day. You're going to be miserable for most of the game. And I know this is a flight test, so the only people playing it are people who are, really interested in Halo. And I mean, people were trying their asses off in these games. Like every game, just about every game was a sweat fest. It was either like a really close, sweated out game, or it was a game where one team just absolutely dominated the other team because the other guys just couldn't get a power weapon, they couldn't get a rhythm, they were getting annihilated. You know, there were games I played where we won by, you know, 40 points, 30 points, 50 to 10, stuff like that. Like crazy blowouts or really sweaty sweat fests. That was really the only two things that were happening. And that's kind of what you're going to get with a beta or flight, whatever. So it was sweaty, and at times I was raging. I mean, when this game is going bad, it's going bad. It's similar to like Battlefield, where you're not going to get many free kills. If you're getting dominated, you're getting dominated. And if you just can't get, you know, your rhythm right, you're going to get slaughtered because there's not really any free kills in Halo. You know, there's very, very few free kills. It's not like Call of Duty where you're going to always run into people with their back turned and be able to kill them in, you know, 5 bullets. You have to fight people in one-on-ones, get their shield down and finish them off. And that's, you know, 80% of engagements are like that. So there's not really any freebies. So when it's going bad, it can really be frustrating. And when you take into account the respawn timers on these objective game modes, where it's 10 seconds, you know, if you have a rough start to the game and you get killed the first few engagements you have, you know, suddenly it's 2 minutes into the game and you haven't even killed a single person yet. And it's, you know, it feels like a long time because you're waiting for that respawn timer, and then you finally get back in and you get in a fight and you die, and you have to wait for the respawn timer again and get in another fight and you get killed again, and it can be super frustrating. And on top of that, in a game like Halo where, you know, if you run into a group of 2 guys, there's a slim chance you can kill both of them unless you get a good nade off. And, you know, other things can happen where you're walking across the map and you get sniped in the head. And, you know, you have no weapon to fight back against a sniper if you're across the map in this game. So it can be frustrating, but when it's good, it's really good. It's really, really fun when things are going your way in this game. And it feels mostly balanced. One thing that I absolutely hate, though, is the Ghost. The Ghost is so bad. The guns on it are better than they've been. It seems like they're more powerful and you can kill people easier with the little plasma cannons on the front. But man, it is so slow and like not agile at all. It takes 10 years to turn that thing. I don't know why, but it has no agility to it whatsoever. I understand it's supposed to be like the brute version of the Ghost, but man, this thing turns so terribly slow that it's just unusable. Most of the time I would just, if I saw it on the field, I just wouldn't get in it. And I saw other people doing that too. They would just walk right past it because it's like, you have no chance. Maybe on a more open map, I think it could be better, but for this map that they had, it was so bad, man, so bad. And it would just get hijacked all the time because of the grapple hook. So, like, I was constantly doing this, constantly. And every time I got in one, it seemed like people were trying to do it to me too. So, I don't know, maybe it's just not the right map for this vehicle, and I think they need to step up the agility of it to begin with anyways. But the Warthog is good. It gets up and goes really fast once you get in it, and the turret melts people. So that's good too. The 4-wheeler Mongoose is also really good too. It seems a lot faster in this game. Like, you can really fly across the map in those things, so they're probably going to be killer for capture the flag game types. But yeah, the vehicles feel fine except for the Ghost, and next week when there is Big Team Battle, we'll have a lot better idea of how the vehicles work, which ones are good, which ones need a little bit of polishing and patching and all that good stuff. But just to wrap things up, I mean, it definitely feels like Halo. It's a little sweaty, but that's kind of how a beta test goes. I want to see it when there's more, you know, public people able to play it. but it's looking good so far, and we'll see how it goes next weekend. Thanks for watching.